7 miraculous signs your soul is divinely confirmed for a heavenly shift revealed. Prophecies. In the heart of a quaint rural village in England, a desperate mother finds herself teetering on the edge of faith. Emma, a 34-year-old single mother, faces the unbearable strain of keeping hope alive for her 2 young children battling health issues. With their struggles weighing heavily on her, her faith flickers like a candle in a storm, and she feels the gentle tug of divine mysteries beckoning her closer. One fateful evening, she retreats to the local chapel, the air thick with aged wood and unlit incense. The flickering candles cast shadows that dance like spirits around her. It is in this sacred space that Father Thomas, the village's beloved priest, speaks words that pierce the veil of her doubt. He proclaims that a heavenly shift is upon them, and divine confirmation awaits those who sincerely seek God. Emma remains haunted by her worries. She stands at the crossroads of hope and despair, gripping her children's fragile health as the days forge onwards. Every prayer feels met with silence, leaving echoes of skepticism in its wake. Yet Father Thomas had ignited something within her. Was it possible? Could they experience a miracle? Her resolve strengthens as she pulls her family closer to faith, lighting candles in their home and gathering them for nightly prayers. Believe, she whispers to them, though her heart trembles with uncertainty, but life can be unkind, and just as she begins to feel warmth flooding in, a heart-wrenching accident leaves her children even more vulnerable. The dread settles like a heavy shroud over the home, and doubts they once had multiply like dark shadows. Emma's heart is heavy, but deep down, a prayer retreats, whispered in the darkest of nights, a flicker of hope. Amidst this turmoil, the chapel doors swing open to the glow of a healing service one Wednesday evening. Emma hesitantly sits among the faithful, her spirit torn. And then a stranger stands before them, trembling yet resolute, recounting a miraculous healing that she never imagined. Gasps echo, and tears ripple through the congregation as the stranger recounts their story, a testimony that feels like a herald from the heavens. Miracles arise from depths of despair, Emma hears, a spark igniting in her heart. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As weeks slip by, the prophecy unfurls like a morning fog lifting at dawn. She unexpectedly bumps into an old friend who shares about a new, groundbreaking therapy that could help her children, while whispers of prayers envelop her from a once divided community. Her children, too, begin to show flickers of improvement, and a belief stirs. Perhaps faith is wending its way through cracks she never noticed. Yet, as dawn breaks forth with renewed hope, a profound revelation slams into her like a tempest. Dark questions rise once more. Is faith enough? As she stands before the chapel, an inviting silhouette wrapped in radiant light draws her near. It beckons her to step forward, to lean into the unknown, where miracles lie hidden in plain sight. Emma feels the air shimmer, preparing her soul for a journey that could change everything. What awaited her in that light? It felt monumental, and utterly transformative. As the golden light enveloped Emma, the world around her seemed to fade. Each breath she took felt heavy with anticipation, the air crackling with divine energy. She stood at the threshold, caught between the familiar struggles of her daily life and the whispering promise of transformation. What lies beyond this light? She wondered silently, her heart racing in her chest. In that moment of uncertainty, she sensed a stirring within her, strength mingling with fear, hope blending with doubt. With each beat of her heart, clarity unfolded like petals blooming under the sun. She took a step forward, pulled by an unseen force that anchored itself deep in her spirit. The soft murmur of the congregation faded away. She felt as if she was the only person in existence, wrapped in the warmth of celestial embrace. Emma entered the light, and everything shifted. Visions flashed before her. She saw her children, radiant and whole, laughter bubbling like a gentle stream flowing freely. She witnessed moments of joy, captured in the simplest of gestures, eyelids fluttering in sleep, fingers intertwined in a shared warmth, the sound of giggles weaving through sunlight. Tears surged in her eyes, a surge of emotion she could not contain. Could this be possible? She thought, each question a prayer of its own. A voice, soft yet commanding, emanated from the gleaming figure at the center of the light. "Emma," it called, resonating with a harmony that felt both foreign and familiar. "Your faith has opened pathways long hidden. Trust in this light, for it guides you to the miracles awaiting your family." Each word settled deep within her, transforming her heartache into a vessel of hope. "What am I to do?" she whispered, the weight of her children's suffering a heavy chain around her heart. "Let go of your fears," the voice replied gently. "Surrender your doubts and cling to faith like never before. There lies your strength." With those words, Emma felt shackles begin to break away, pieces of her burden vanishing in the luminescence. It was as if the air itself was infused with promise, lifting her spirit upward. Then, almost as swiftly as it began, the vision faded, pulling her back into the embrace of reality. Emma stood in the chapel, the warm glow of candles flickering around her, the community gathered in earnest faith. She could feel their prayers swirling, wrapping like a shawl around her. Hope, once fragile, blossomed fiercely within her chest, igniting a new fervor. With renewed determination, Emma left the chapel that night with a clearer purpose. No longer would she allow doubts to cloud her heart. She would fight for her children, reaching for the miracle that felt so close, yet just out of reach. A voice echoed within her, whispering encouragement. Take the first step. In the following days, Emma sought answers with renewed vigor. Each visit to the doctor, every therapy session, she approached with a heart full of spiritual expectation. She opened up conversations with neighbors, inviting them to join her in prayer, weaving an unbreakable fabric of community and strength. Yet, as she dove deeper into her journey, another challenge emerged, a test of faith that shook her foundations, reverberating through every aspect of her healing quest. "Why is this happening?" echoed the question in her mind, as shadows loomed yet again over their lives. Emma stood firm, allowing the flicker of light within her to guide her through impending darkness. Will she find the strength to push through this next trial? Could it be the very challenge that leads her to the miracle she desperately seeks? The answers lay ahead, still shrouded in divine mystery. Days turned into weeks, each one a blend of hope and strained uncertainty. Emma's heart, once heavy with doubt, now beat with unwavering faith. Yet, just as the sun sets to reveal the stars, shadows encroached upon the light she had embraced. A myriad of concerns began to seep back into her mind. What if the healing she sought for her children was unreachable? What if her prayers were unanswered? On a dreary Wednesday evening, Emma sat on the worn-out steps of her porch, watching raindrops race each other down the railing. The soft patter of the rain matched the rhythm of her thoughts. She recalled the faces of her children, their smiles, their laughter. A warmth filled her spirit, echoing the promise of the vision she had seen. Yet the trials they endured were pressing down, each worry a stone in her heart. "Why, Lord?" she murmured. "Why this struggle now, when hope felt so near?" The wind seemed to whisper back, stirring the trees like a gentle hand, reminding Emma of the promise she clung to. On impulse, she reached for her phone, scanning her contacts until her fingers hovered over Jill, a close friend who had walked her hardest journey alongside her. Within moments, she heard the familiar sound of a voice that brought comfort. "Emma. I've been wanting to check in on you. How are things?" As they spoke, Emma poured out her heart, expressing her fears and the mounting anguish that clawed at the edges of her newfound hope. "Sometimes, the struggle is part of the journey, isn't it?" Jill replied gently. "Faith doesn't mean there won't be storms. It's about trusting him in the midst of them." Emma felt a flicker of understanding. It wasn't that faith would eliminate her trials, rather, it was the very essence of faith that would carry her through. Jill's words wrapped around her soul, awakening deeper reflections. Emma realized that perhaps she was being called to declare her faith boldly, not in the absence of fear, but right in the heart of it. With newfound resolve, Emma set her sight on a community event scheduled for that weekend. She envisioned speaking openly about the struggles her family faced, lifting her story as a beacon of hope for others. Perhaps unveiling her challenges would not only encourage her but lift those around her, woven together in shared faith. She shared this thought with Jill, who agreed, affirming how powerful testimonies can be in moving hearts toward God. As the event approached, Emma poured herself into preparation. She prayed fervently, remaining open to the divine guidance that had emanated from the light she'd once stepped into. Each day became an amalgamation of whispers of encouragement, trusting in the Lord to guide her words. On the day of the event, Emma stood before a gathering of familiar faces and new ones, her heart dancing with trepidation and excitement. She took a deep breath, the very air filled with the scent of hope. The moment she opened her mouth, a wave of warmth washed over her, like a divine embrace filling her with courage. Many of you know my family is facing struggles that seem insurmountable. Emma began, her voice steady, yet tender. As she shared her journey, heads nodded, eyes glistened, and hearts connected in the sacred challenge of faith. This path has not been easy, but I stand here today to tell you that in our darkest hours, hope persists. It can feel like a whisper at times, but it's there. If we hold on to our faith and embrace our community, we can find solace even in the trials. As the room fell silent, a palpable energy surrounded her, a unity forging among those gathered. People came forward, sharing their own trials, their own cries for help. Emma felt an unwavering bond take shape, reinforced by shared struggles and a collective belief in something greater than themselves. But just as the seeds of hope began to sprout, Emma felt an unsettling flicker at the edge of her awareness. What new concern awaited her? Would this vulnerability open doors she wasn't ready to face? Uncertainty loomed, the promise of divine shifts just beyond reach. Emma's heart raced with thrilling worry, the realization of her deeper path beginning to unfold in frightening clarity. As the crowd murmured their encouragement, Emma's pulse quickened. She glanced around the room, taking in the faces illuminated by the soft glow of faith. Each person was a testament to the imperfections of life, yearning to find meaning amid the chaos. Yet, in the heart of that chaos, a divine narrative was being stitched together, and Emma felt a gentle urging to lean into it. Taking a moment to compose herself, she focused on the warmth of the connection forged in that space. As I share our story, I want to remind each of you of the light that remains, even when it feels overshadowed. I've been there, lost in the depths of despair, grappling with the unseen forces of doubt and fear. While she spoke, Emma sensed a stirring energy, as if waves of hope were rising and crashing beautifully through the room. The shared testimony transformed into something sacred, a union of spirits drawn together under a common longing for healing and direction. Our lives can be a tapestry of struggles, woven with threads of joy and sorrow. But friends, amid this tapestry lies God's unshakable promise. He sees us. He knows our hearts. As she spoke, she could taste the salt of tears on her lips, reflecting the emotions felt in the space around her. Several heads nodded, and a few people murmured their agreement, affirming the truth that lingered in the air. The bond within the room grew thicker, like the heat before summer storms, a merging of hearts caught in the exuberance of shared vulnerability. After her speech, Emma stepped away from the microphone, a little shaky but overflowing with gratitude. The connections that had formed felt nearly tangible. It was in these moments of raw honesty that the Spirit thrived, wrapping each person present in a cloak of understanding and grace. I never imagined I would feel more connected to my community through sharing my pain, Emma confessed to Jill later that evening. It was like unveiling a hidden truth. We're all struggling in our own ways. And I realized my vulnerability gave others the courage to speak too. Jill smiled, her eyes glistening with empathy. That's the beauty of being open, Emma. It's like a ripple effect, igniting others to seek out their own healing. You might have been the spark. As the days passed, the warmth from the event lingered in Emma's heart. Yet, in the quiet moments, doubt would seep in, whispering fears that the connections made wouldn't be enough to sustain her or others. She found herself wrestling with the weight of unanswered prayers again. What if this was just a moment? She asked, staring listlessly at the reflections of the stars in her night sky. What if the flickering hope fades, leaving only shadows behind? Yet, amidst her wrestling, Emma remembered the stories of miraculous signs she'd heard over time, the extraordinary moments that so often accompanied faith. They filled her spirit with a renewed vigor. What if she was on the brink of her own miracle? Could this shared journey truly lead all of them to healing? Dreams filled her mind, visions of rejoicing and miracles unfolding within and without. Could the time of divine intervention be approaching, waiting just on the horizon? With a determination fueled by the gathering energy, she resolved to lean deeper into her faith. Inviting God to reveal His plan, she stepped into a space of expectation, lifting her eyes toward the heavens which seemed to beckon with promise. What new signs awaited her? And so, in the gentle hush of night, she closed her eyes, feeling utterly at peace yet imminently aware of the impending possibilities. Would the turning point reveal itself? Would her community witness the miraculous refrain from the heavens? As the answer lingered in the air, she found herself recounting the stories of others as a prayer in her heart. Lord, I'm ready for a shift, and I trust you to guide us. Little did Emma know, a divine transformation was on the cusp of breaking forth, ready to challenge everything she thought she understood about faith and miracles. Emma awoke the next morning, a lingering sense of anticipation tucked beneath her heart. Soft rays of sunlight seeped through her window, casting a warm glow across her room. Today felt different, as if the air buzzed with promises yet to unfold. She could hardly shake the feeling that something significant was on the horizon. As she dressed, Emma's mind turned to the faces of the community gathered the other night. The stories she had heard of struggles, triumphs, and the unyielding search for peace swirled in her thoughts. Each story was a thread, pulling her into a deeper connection with those around her. With her mind settled, she took a deep breath and headed to the local cafe where members from the gathering regularly met. The familiar sounds of coffee brewing and laughter filled her senses, warm like a beloved home. Yet it was the sight of those she had shared her vulnerability with that made her heart swell with a hope that felt electric. Sitting with Jill and a few others, they exchanged glances filled with understanding and unspoken support. Their conversation danced around the themes of faith and healing, sharing insights that bubbled up from deep within their souls. I think we're being called to create something more, Emma suggested, her voice breaking through the energy of the room. Something that helps everyone feel what we've felt, the companionship, the hope. But what if we're not ready? Piped up another friend, Amy, her uncertainty breaking into the warmth. What if it all falls apart? We often underestimate our capacity for growth, Emma countered gently, her heart stirring as she spoke. God has a way of stretching us beyond what we think is possible. I mean, we've already started this journey. As they spoke, Emma noticed subtle shifts in their expressions, a flicker of realization dawning like sunlight breaking through clouds. Hope rippling through them, they began to dream aloud. Plans emerged for gatherings focused on healing, prayer circles, and community outreach, encouraging those still wrestling with despair. Each idea felt like a small flame igniting new possibilities, crowding out doubt. They agreed to meet every week, to foster this budding movement of faith and connection. Emma returned home invigorated. She took her time to journal about their discussion, each word flowing with purpose and grace. In these moments of creation, she sensed God's gentle nudge, urging her further into this divine adventure. That night, just as she was about to drift to sleep, the walls of her room seemed to shimmer with a presence. A distinct feeling wrapped around her, a celestial embrace affirming the path she had chosen. Emma felt it in her bones. There was power and significance in what they were doing. As she closed her eyes, whispers of the past filled her mind, the stories shared, the burdens lightened, the glimmers of faith returned. This was not just her journey, it belonged to all those who dared to seek light in their shadows. In the stillness, she offered a prayer, surrendering her worries anew. Lord, lead us further. Let us be the vessels of your hope, the instruments of your change. Suddenly, in a flash, a vision gripped her heart. Each person who had walked through encounters of grace together, stepping out in faith. But beyond just community, she saw individuals reaching out to those outside their circle, blessings forming a ripple into the world. Emma's heart raced. Was this the divine action she had been waiting for? Before sleep took her, she felt an exhilarating pull in her spirit. Did they dare to believe that together, they could spark something extraordinary? As she lay there, the question hung heavily and beautifully in the quiet air: what miraculous signs would reveal themselves next, guiding them into the next transformative chapter of their lives? The sun rose on another beautiful day, its light breaking through the curtain like a call to action. Emma felt an awakening within her, a stirring of purpose that transcended the ordinary. As she prepared for the day, she couldn't shake the feeling that something monumental was about to unfold. Arriving at the cafe, the atmosphere buzzed with chatter. Faces sparkled with curiosity and excitement, each soul a flickering candle of hope. Emma surveyed her friends, their eyes shining with potential, and it felt electric, like all the universe was leaning in. Gathered around their usual table, Emma sensed an urgency to the moments shared. "Today, let us not just talk about our plans," she proposed, her voice steady and inviting. "Let us go deeper. Let us pray for clarity on what God wants us to do." A moment of silence engulfed them, and everyone nodded slowly. It was a collective breath before diving into deeper waters. As they joined hands, Emma's heart thumped with resolve. "Lord, guide our thoughts," she whispered. "Reveal to us what we need to embrace for your greater purpose." With every prayer spoken, Emma could feel warmth pooling among them, a tangible sense of God's presence enveloping the circle. Words flowed, each person sharing their thoughts and visions about their collective mission. Hope danced in the air. After the prayer, Amy looked at Emma. "What if we started with a community event? Like a day of sharing and healing?" Her voice trembled with excitement. "Exactly!" Emma exclaimed. "We can invite everyone, those who need hope, who feel lost. Offer them a taste of true connection, right here. That can be our first step." The others exchanged animated glances, inspiration illuminating their faces. They began to plan. Ideas flew around the table like doves in flight: a picnic in the park, music, maybe a motivational speaker, and space for testimony and healing. As they worked through the details, something remarkable happened. One by one, stories resurfaced: tales shared at the last gathering, shared burdens, and personal victories. With each retold account, hearts intertwined, their faith burgeoned like blossoms in spring. Hours flew by in joyous creativity. Before they knew it, Emma glanced at the clock. It was late, yet no one seemed to notice. Emma felt a profound connection course through her spirit. Each palm pressed together in prayer had ignited something far more powerful than she anticipated. As they rose to leave, light laughter surrounded them, the day's worries shooed away like gossamer threads. Emma stepped outside, bathed in the evening sun. It was dusk, and the sky shimmered with hues of gold and lavender. The world felt expansive, full of shimmering possibilities. In that ethereal moment, a gentle reminder crept into Emma's heart. The journey ahead was not endless toil, it was sacred service. What if this gathering became something so much greater? What if they helped rekindle the spark of hope in those who felt darkness closing in? Emma took a deep breath, overwhelmed with gratitude. They were not just a group of friends, they were being transformed into a light for others. But the question lingered: how would they navigate the obstacles sure to arise? What trials awaited them in this path of divine confirmation? As Emma pondered, a flicker of divine excitement ignited within her spirit. All she could feel was anticipation. The universe was unfolding in their favor, but the road ahead would demand courage, faith, and unity. What challenges would they face in this bold venture of faith? What would it take to transform their dreams into reality? The days that followed were woven together like the threads of the tapestry Emma and her friends were beginning to create. Each morning brought with it a renewed sense of purpose, a divine whisper urging them onward. As plans solidified for their upcoming community event, the air around Emma felt charged with expectancy. One evening, they gathered again at the cafe. The soft hum of conversation wrapped around them, but this time, there was a focused intent behind their words. Emma's gaze settled on her friends, they were not just discussing logistics but sharing insights that opened new doors of understanding. Their hearts were tuned to the same frequency, sensing the heartbeat of a greater mission that lay ahead. "Have we thought about how we'll invite the community?" Ryan asked, leaning forward, animated. His dark hair caught the light, adding a halo effect that made him appear almost angelic. "This has to be big. We need signs, flyers, something that will make people stop and pay attention." "Yes." Emma cheered, her spirit soaring at Ryan's enthusiasm. "But let us not just make it about the event. Let us invite them into a conversation, let them know they belong here. We can share stories, listen to their struggles, and offer room for healing." The group nodded in agreement, their ideas building and expanding like the branches of a tree reaching towards the sky, stretching towards an unseen light. Somewhere in the midst of brainstorming, a thought struck Emma, a way of reaching beyond just their immediate circle. "What about including a testimony corner?" Emma suggested, her pulse quickening with excitement. "We could have a space where people can come and share their own stories of hope and healing. It will show others they're not alone." Amy's eyes sparkled as she exclaimed, "Yes. And we can provide a journal where they can write their thoughts or prayers, a tangible piece of their experience to take home." Time passed swiftly as they built upon their shared vision. The cafe around them faded as the weight of their purpose intensified. Each laugh, each word, felt sanctified, and Emma could almost see the web of connection extending beyond their small circle, touching lives they had yet to meet. As they prepared to leave that night, a sudden hush fell over them, an unspoken awareness of what they had begun, a sacred mission that reached into the heart of their community. They stood together, their breath mingling in the cool night air, a collective heartbeat poised for divine action. "Sometimes, I think about the people who will come," Emma said softly, her voice almost lost to the evening breeze. "What will they bring? What will their stories teach us?" A stillness surrounded them, as though the universe was listening, eager to guide their uncertain steps. It was in that moment Emma felt a profound connection to something much larger than herself, a sense of destiny unmistakably linked to their gathering. The question turned in her mind like an intricately woven tapestry: what miracles are waiting to unfold? As they left the cafe, laughter echoed in their wake, but Emma couldn't shake the thought that something was coming. Not just for them, but for those they would serve. The night sky twinkled with stars that seemed to shimmer with secrets waiting to be uncovered. Little did they know, their steps were set to intersect with someone whose life could be transformed by their venture. What was hidden beneath the surface, waiting to be revealed? The unfolding mystery of their journey waited just ahead, alive with possibility and promise. Emma's heart raced, and a quiet thrill danced within her spirit. What legacy were they destined to create together? What impact awaited them with each soul they would encounter? In the deepening twilight, the questions lingered like the first hints of dawn, reminding her that every journey begins with a single step into the unknown. The days slipped away, each moment tainted with anticipation, each hour a heartbeat drawing them closer to their community event. Emma felt it deep within, a stirring of something remarkable just beyond the horizon. People would come, their stories merging, their burdens lifting, and every soul counted. A week later, the cafe felt like a hive of activity. Posters adorned the walls, vibrant colors promising a day of unity and hope. Applications for volunteer positions lined the tables, and the air was rich with the smell of freshly brewed coffee and the sweet scent of baked goods. "Emma, you've really outdone yourself," Amy grinned as she adjusted a bright poster detailing their event's schedule. "Look at all these sign-ups. It's almost overwhelming." "As it should be," Emma replied, her heart fluttering with joy. "Every name represents a heartbeat, a struggle, a chance for healing." Ryan nodded thoughtfully, tapping a stack of flyers. "Let us not forget the spiritual aspect. We need to remind everyone that this isn't just about gathering. It's about connecting with something divine." As they discussed the intricacies of the day ahead, Emma felt a chill run down her spine. Something in her gut hinted that they were on the brink of witnessing real change. What she didn't know was that their collective faith would soon be tested. The day of the event arrived, bright with promise. The sun greeted them as they set up, smiles punctuating the excitement weaving through the air. Emma could see familiar faces mingling with strangers. Everyone was drawn together by a shared desire for healing. As the event commenced, a warmth enveloped the courtyard, intertwining laughter with the gentle strains of music. Emma stepped back, absorbing the scene. It was like witnessing a miracle unfold, a patchwork of lives, woven together in divine love. "Don't you think it's amazing?" Amy exclaimed, bubbling over with enthusiasm. "So many stories yet to be shared." But just as she spoke, a figure caught Emma's eye. He stood slightly apart, his gaze glued to the ground, hands wringing nervously. Something in his demeanor called to her. Without hesitation, she approached. "Hi there," she said softly, breaking the silence. "I'm Emma. What brings you here today?" He looked up, and for a brief moment, their eyes locked. A spark of connection flickered in the air between them. I don't know," he stammered. "I thought maybe it might help, but I feel lost." Emma felt a surge of compassion. "You're here now, and that means something. You're not alone, there's a whole community here that wants to listen." As she spoke, she noticed tears forming in his eyes. The kind of tears that carried years of struggle, questions unanswered, pain harbored deep. It was a reminder of why they had all gathered. "Come with me," she urged gently, leading him to a quieter spot adorned with flickering candles and soft cushions. "Tell me your story." The man hesitated, but Emma could sense a glimmer of hope beginning to spark within him. With each breath, he began to share. Around them, others were doing the same, opening their hearts and souls, feeling the weight of their troubles lifted in the presence of understanding. Emma marveled at how this simple act of connection had the power to ignite transformation, but just as the atmosphere thickened with emotion, thunder rumbled in the distance. A flicker of unease spread amongst the crowd. Someone gasped, looking toward the sky. "Look!" A voice cried out. The clouds were forming a spiral, turning a brilliant shade of violet and gold. Emma's heart raced. What was happening? She felt the divine presence around them, heavy with promise. This was no ordinary day, and what they were witnessing was beyond their understanding. Suddenly, the moment felt electric, a signal that something deeper was at play, a whisper of the miraculous unfolding right before their eyes. Emma's breath caught in her throat. Was this truly a heavenly shift, a sign that their efforts were divinely confirmed? As she stood there, curiosity and fear danced together, brimming with questions that lingered in the air. What awaited them in the spiraled clouds above, and what transformative journey was just beginning? The unfolding mystery and possibility drew closer, untangling the threads of fate. Emma felt the stirring of purpose surge within her, preparing for the moments that were yet to come. The air became thick with expectation, a palpable energy swirling among the gathered souls. Emma stood rooted in place, unable to tear her gaze from the sky. Her heart pounded, and an electric pulse shot through her body. Was this divine intervention? Would something extraordinary unfold before them? Suddenly, the vibrant colors of the clouds shifted again. A deep, resonant voice filled the courtyard, echoing through the hearts of everyone present. You are loved. You are heard. Your stories matter. The words surged through Emma like a cleansing tide, washing over her fears and igniting a fire of hope within. Gasps broke the hush, and soon whispers turned into murmurs of affirmation. Did you hear that? One woman exclaimed, clutching her friend's arm. It feels like God is speaking to us. Emma turned back to the man she had comforted just moments before. His face reflected a mixture of awe and confusion. Is this real? He stammered, searching Emma's eyes for reassurance. Yes. Emma replied, her own heart racing with the weight of the moment. It's real. This is a sign. A reminder that we're not walking this path alone. In this sacred space, the air shimmered with a binding spirit. What began as a gathering of individuals transformed into a community of believers, a congregation united by divine purpose. The atmosphere thrummed with possibility, and each soul that stood there became a thread in a magnificent tapestry woven by the Creator. People began to lift their heads, their eyes dancing across the sky. The swirling clouds reframed their fears, channeling them into faith. There were those in the crowd who began to cry out blessings, while others clasped hands in prayer. Emma could feel the warmth of hope permeating their expressions. She was witnessing something miraculous. Then, from the center of the gathering, an elderly man named Harold stepped forward. His presence radiated wisdom, and a hush spread across the crowd. "I've been waiting for a sign like this for years," he said, his voice a calm anchor amidst the storm. "Some may doubt, but I know that transformation awaits us." A ripple of encouragement surged through the group. Emma felt compelled to respond, her heart ablaze with passion. This is the moment we've been building toward. Each story shared today is a seed planted, and God is watering them. Let us not forget the hearts we've opened. As the sun dipped lower, bathing the crowd in a warm golden hue, the colors in the sky intensified. The spiraled clouds seemed to pulse with energy, and glow as though they were alive. Emma raised her hands, feeling the energy course through her fingers. This is our chance. We must embrace the healing, the change, and the miracles that are about to unfold. With every conviction she felt, she began to articulate the belief that had nestled gently in her heart for months. We are divinely confirmed. What our eyes cannot see, our hearts know. Let us be bold in faith. The words resonated in the depths of the assembly, awakening echoes of hope within them. As the crowd began to rally around Emma's fervor, a sudden flash of light cut through the sky. A divine manifestation, vibrant and powerful, created a moment of stillness. They all stood united, breathless in anticipation. Just then, the vibrancy of the moment was shaken by an unexpected sound. A low rumble beckoned from the earth beneath them. It felt like a heartbeat of the universe itself. What could this mean? What a deeper message rested behind this uncanny symphony of celestial forces? The spirit of the gathering swelled once more, and Emma felt a newfound strength racing through her veins. Whatever was coming next, they were prepared to face it together, standing firm in their belief. But what awaited them as the stars began to twinkle, and the universe expanded its embrace? Only time would reveal the divine path they were destined to tread. In the midst of vibrant colors swirling in the sky, the miracle they had called forth felt tangible. Emma's heart raced, filled with a divine urgency. In the culmination of their shared stories and unwavering prayers, something monumental was unfolding, the beginning of a heavenly shift. The crowd, once merely individuals, stood as a united force, embodying faith strengthened by vulnerability. Emma felt the electric pulse of connection, each heart beating with the same rhythm of purpose. This is it. She shouted, her voice cutting through the awe. We are here for a reason. As if in response, the sky shimmered, reflecting their collective hope. The elderly man, Harold, raised his hands high. Let us declare what we believe. We are vessels of change. The crowd rallied, echoes of amen. Rising like incense to heaven. Joy danced in the air, mingling with tears and laughter. Emma closed her eyes, letting the waves of divine presence wash over her. She remembered those long, dark nights filled with doubt. Yet here stood a community, bathed in light and promise. God has not forgotten us, she declared passionately, her heart alight with the Holy Spirit's fire. He hears our prayers and sees our struggles. With every heartbeat, their entangled stories began to transform not just into words but into living testimonies of strength and healing. A young woman stepped forward, her hands trembling yet determined. I came here feeling so alone, she confessed, her voice quaking. But now, I feel a belonging I never knew existed. Tears streamed down her face, but they glimmered with newfound hope. The crowd murmured, a chorus of affirmation swelling around her. Emma stepped closer, placing a comforting hand on the woman's shoulder. You're not alone anymore. Together, we are stronger. Together, we are a family. Each person gathered began to share their own stories, their vulnerabilities intertwining like fine threads of a tapestry woven by the hands of the Creator, and then, there was a hush as a child, barely 5 years old, found the courage to speak. "I like it here. It's nice," he said simply. Innocence radiated from him, and adorned with sincerity, his words crashed over the gathering like waves of healing balm. In that moment, the echoes of laughter and solace merged into a profound understanding. Their struggles, their stories, and their glorious connection were, indeed, gifts bestowed upon them. Each testimony had become a spark igniting the flames of hope, propelling them toward a shared destiny bathed in divine confirmation. Suddenly, a rush of wind cascaded through the courtyard, rustling leaves and filling the space with divine energy. What was that? People gasped, eyes widening with amazement. Emma noticed the sky swirling into the colors of a breathtaking sunset, bathing them with golden light as the sun dripped beyond the horizon. "This is a sign!" Emma shouted joyfully, eyes glistening. "We are embarking on a journey deeper into faith, a calling to embrace the miraculous." Agitation melded with excitement among the crowd, hearts racing as they felt the palpable energy of the sacred moment. As lingering shadows began to stretch into the evening, Emma turned her gaze upwards, whispering a prayer of gratitude. "Thank you, Lord, for reminding us of your boundless love." Her heart softened, overflowing with warmth as she felt the hearts of those gathered intertwining into one. With voices united, they praised, sang, and worshipped. It transformed into an ecstatic celebration, each beat, each note echoing the life pulsing in their souls. The courtyard transformed into holy ground, a sanctuary filled with laughter, prayer, and the spirit of divine connection. As the evening drifted into night, Emma felt the gentle tug of a compelling call within her spirit, one that whispered of future possibilities, of lives yet to be transformed. "We will continue this," she proclaimed, her voice rising above the melodies. "We will gather, we will share, and we will grow in faith together. This is just the beginning of something beautiful." Suddenly, the clouds above parted, revealing a sky adorned with twinkling stars, each one a testimony to the miracles that had emerged from their own hearts. The whispers of their prayers seemed to beckon others beyond their gathering. This was no longer just their journey. It was destined to ignite faith in everyone who crossed their paths. Emma's tears flowed freely now, a river of gratitude and joy. She could feel the Spirit flowing deeply through her, igniting a passion that would help nurture hope in her children and all those in need. In a moment of clarity, Emma realized their journey was much bigger than any of them had anticipated. It would carry on, spreading ripples of healing far beyond the confines of their humble community. With a fierce light igniting in her heart, she reached for the hands of those beside her, creating a chain of strength. "Let us go forth and share what we've discovered. Let us be the light in this world, boundless and bright." As they stood, united and inspired, the surrounding stars shone even brighter. Life, radiant and renewed, awaited them on the horizon. If you're feeling this message in your heart, now is the time. You need to subscribe immediately to our channel to not miss the next exclusive faith stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show your support. Comment below with your reactions and testimonies about this magnificent ending. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this miraculous manifestation. Together, let us spread the divine light far and wide.